Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Carp. I'm Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director at Hutchinson Community College, and your host for this podcast. Conversations with Carp was created to keep Blue Dragon Nation in touch with Blue Dragon athletics through this pandemic that we are currently experiencing. And this is also a way for people to get to know a little bit better the people involved in Blue Dragon athletics. And one person who's heavily involved is today's guest, Corbin Strobel. He is the Director of Admissions here at Hutchinson Community College. Corbin, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Hey, thanks, Carp. I appreciate it.
So usually the first question I've asked in all these is how the new normal has affected that person. How's the new normal affected you and your department in admissions?
Well, admissions is something that we like to pride ourselves that we adapt and improvise. So kind of just moving with the new flow of things, trying to find the positives out of this change in how we connect with people. As a personal person, it's a little bit difficult on the not seeing people face to face, but honestly with some of the positives is the connection piece using new technologies that current students seem to have jumped out ahead of us on and us getting caught up with, but still connecting to students, building those relationships, working with staff here on campus to make sure that we're maintaining the things that we needed to be doing during this time. Kind of the thing that I told everybody at the beginning is it was almost like we just moved the academic calendar for our area. We go heavy and hard to enrollment and recruitment during the months of September to April every year, and then May hits and students leave campus for summertime, and it gets a little bit slower of just the actual what's going on, not slower to what work needs to be done, because we do different things that we can do. And so it reminds me a lot of summertime, honestly, of working on the things that we need to get done for the following recruitment year, but also working with those students to get them enrolled currently, since we started that right at the beginning of the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the avenues that prospective students can reach the admissions department and what features on Blue Dragon or on the HCC website, hutcc.edu. Talk about some of the features that prospective students can find on the website to find out about campus and life at Hutchinson Community College.
Sure. One of the quickest links is with our COVID-19 button. Our marketing office did a really nice job, along with a lot of IT staff, to put together that page. And one of the links on that page, one of the boxes, is for prospective students, and it kind of gives them a quick link to some virtual tours, some videos, and then connection to the admissions office. We're pretty much running, everybody in the admissions office is connected to their phone and email. So we're running pretty much as normal, just with not people in the office, but students are more than welcome to reach out to us, and admissions reps and staff are willing to connect with them, whatever is best way to connect with those students, as long as it's not face-to-face. So we've done some Zoom meetings with our current student ambassadors, haven't had a lot of requests for prospective students. But again, a lot of that is just right now the time frame is those students are going to advisors and working with those advisors for enrollment. Those 2020 grads were already signing up for our enrollment days, and so they've kind of moved to that advisor area and started to work with them on getting enrolled for next year. So prospective student, though, like I said, they're more than welcome to reach out to us based off of that page. We also have a link on our admissions page about Visit Us that has some of that same visual stuff for the virtual tours and things. And then if a student's looking to do the enrollment piece of it, to apply and enroll, the best link for them to go to is our public website, so the www.hutcc.edu, and then a / in the word apply-enroll. And that will get them to a page on our website that kind of takes them to about about 6 boxes that they can choose what student type they are. And then if they follow that and they'll apply, they can kind of run through a checklist. So say, for example, they're a current high school student wanting to take classes while in high school. They would follow the high school link and follow the processes there. And then we've got people here on our campus that work and manage the enrollment for those prospective students that are still currently in high school wanting to take classes. We've got our traditional first-time freshman group, so I'm getting ready to graduate high school, or I already have and haven't attended college. They come in a different scenario, and that gets out to our different folks here and kind of get them taken care of. Our transfer students, like I said, just across the board, and a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes on that, and not just during the COVID-19 scenario, but really every year. The admissions staff and the work that they do, I couldn't be more proud of my staff, Carp. The fact of the work that they do and the connecting with students, building relationships with students, and that didn't miss a beat. And like I said, we kind of live that world normally anyway, but this definitely forced our hand on how we had to do things.
With that in mind, the fact that we're now more than a month into what we call the new normal, do you see us going back to the old normal in terms of the way you do things, or is some of the new normal just going to kind of filter in to when we get back to life, when we're able to go out and about when we want?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I don't want to get too far out ahead of things to think that it won't be some things that will still be done later. I kind of look at it. I was a director of admissions during 9/11. That was another scenario I think that a lot of people are talking about right now, that the people that are going through this that didn't really know about that or weren't born yet or things of that nature. This is kind of their 9/11 is what I keep hearing. And the reality of it is we had to change things. We had to do things differently, but we did. And again, the thing, Carp, for me is I think we're looking at some of the positives that could come out of this. One of them being, how we as an institution think that we should do things, and then how prospective students want to do things is always something that admissions we've always had to kind of look at. And I know you guys are familiar with that on the athletic side as well. For years, getting to the opportunity to get a texting platform and moving forward with that. We've had students, that's a great way to contact the students of today. You and I have kids that are similar ages, and they like to text. A lot of times colleges will say, well, that's not very personable, but it is to that student, and we've got to adjust to that. Or what social media, I didn't ever use Facebook for recruiting until you had to use Facebook for recruiting. And now Facebook's kind of passed by, and you better be on, Twitter and those things. And so really, like I said, I think there's some positives that could come out of this, because we're gonna have to adjust to our prospective students and to their parents, and that might mean changes in how we approach things. Now, I'd sure like to get back to that individual campus visit where people come onto our campus and they meet with other people on our campus. And I think we'll get back to that. We might have to do some things where, you do the social distancing. Maybe it's hard for me not to shake hands, but if that's the new normal, I'll figure out a way to greet them without shaking their hand. Again, just different things that you can do and that you can think of that really will make us all better at what we do. Because the main goal for me still is that communication, building that relationship, and the common purpose of making sure that our prospective students and parents know that we're looking out for their best interest and making sure that Hutchinson Community College is the best place for them to attend, and then taking care of them going through that process.
Now you talk about the face-to-face with student athletes, prospective student athletes coming in. That was always huge. I know you and Lynette Helty and Kat Eberly did hundreds of campus tours, but you guys always kind of took the lead on the campus tours with prospective student athletes. Just talk about those types of things and the relationships you've built in helping bring prospective student athletes to the college.
We always talk about good customer service isn't just outwards. It's also internally as well. And so, always have appreciated the work that we've done in-house along with everybody else here at Hutchinson Community College. Getting in contact with those coaches and them getting back to us and helping us do our job just like we're helping them do their job is always so much appreciated. You're right. Catherine Eberly and Lynette Hilty and myself, we do a lot of tours, but two behind the scenes, I don't want to miss out on giving them a lot of praise to Sarah Gertz and Brianne Edwards with the work that they do in setting those things up. I'm not for sure people realize doing an individual tour is not just, hey, find a time and let's go. It's getting a time frame that we have a student ambassador available for, that they're available, that we connect then multiple things that a student might be interested. So an appointment in the academic area they're interested in, an activity or athletic program that they're interested in. And it's sometimes it seems like we're putting together a jigsaw puzzle to fit that together, but like I said, couldn't be more proud of the staff. And then the staff of Hutchinson Community College to help get that set up. The sooner we get a phone call back on an appointment to start that tour, to get the setup started, the better job we can do then to get it set up in a timely fashion and back to that student to let them know that date works. So again, always have appreciated the collaboration that's done between departments and offices and programs here at the college, because honestly, the thing like I always tell everybody is we're only as good as everybody else participating. If we can go out and we can talk to students and share with them information, but that has to continue, not just from them getting here, but even when they're here. That's the other thing too, and that's another fun thing about us and our office. And this as well too. When students come to school here, our relationship doesn't change with them just because they've gone from prospective student to student. We get to continue those relationships not only when they're here, but when they're gone from here too, and that helps in retention and as well, which is really just as big a thing as with recruitment as anything else, is retaining those students, making sure that we're doing what we said we're going to do. I pride myself. This is year 24 for me in admissions, and I've never looked at admissions or recruitment as a numbers thing. I look at it as a relationship thing. And for me personally, I want to make sure that when we say they're not just a number and that it's personal and you're part of the Blue Dragon family, that we do that from the very beginning to the very end.
You mentioned the ambassadors, so much an important part of everything that you do over there, because obviously you, Lynette, and Kat and your office staff can't handle everything that you guys have to do. So one, talk about the importance of the ambassador staff, and two, if somebody listening might be interested in becoming an ambassador, what's the process to start that?
Sure. Well, our student ambassador program's made up of anywhere from 20 to 23 students, usually is how we set it up. It's available for freshman and sophomore students to look at participating in. For the upcoming year, we've already selected that group. That starts back at the very beginning of the school year when the scholarship application opens up. But so if we have students interested in for the following year, and this is hard for me to say, the 2021-2022 academic year, they can start by filling out the scholarship application when it becomes available next fall. They would mark it. They have a chance to mark the different activities they're interested in, so they would mark it on that scholarship form. Those go out to the different people in charge of those areas, and so we kind of have a process to where we then send a separate scholarship form for us that tells them about the program and to return the other sheet. That's kind of our first way to get a chance to kind of start to do an interview process potentially with those students. A lot of students don't move past that. They either don't fill it out or don't turn it back into us. The ones that do, we start then to review those applications. And when I say we, it's my staff. I'm not participating in that at near the level that I probably should do that, but I trust my staff to do that, and they've always selected great students. So, but they go through that process, like I said, and continue to move on through that. And then we do an interview process with those prospective students. And then we make a selection, and it's really hard. One thing that I have shared with students over the past years is if you've gotten selected to do an interview and we only have 9 spots available and we're looking at way more than 9 people to put into those spots, it gets to really splitting hairs. But the one thing that I've always told our ambassadors, so anybody that might be interested, is I'm looking for good folk. That's really the one thing you can't teach. A lot of the information about the college, what we want them to share with people, that type of deal. We do trainings to give them that information. But the one thing you really can't do is tell that student, look, I want you to care about it, and I want you to feel how important it is, the job that you're doing to these prospective parents and students, to allow them the same opportunities that you were allowed learning about Hutchinson Community College. And I'll tell you what, Carp, when you think about it, just like in anything else, like athletics and stuff, boy, when you can get a group of students, 20-some students, and they're all pulling the same direction, and they all care about the overall goals and the vision of the ambassador program and the admissions office, I couldn't be more proud of the group of students that we've worked with currently, future, past. And the thing that I love is, they're students from 24 years ago that when I first started in admissions that I worked with as student ambassadors that I'm still friends with today, and that's really what it boils down to.
You bet, as am I with my earlier students, my early stat crew, and those types of kids. That's one of the neat things that we can build here. Lastly, Corbin, you guys have the responsibility of bringing students from all facets in, but when you look at our athletic department, you guys are living and dying right with us on those tight games and battling for championships too, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's the thing is like I said, you get to really care. You get to really care about individual students based off the fact of building those relationships to them, and you're watching them almost like they're your own child sometimes, and how you want them to be successful and those different things, and so that's the great thing about being a part of something in education at a community college level here at Hutchinson Community College that I just don't think you can put a price tag on. The fact that you know that these students are here trying to achieve goals that they have, and you get to be a small part of making sure they're successful in that is fantastic. And there is nothing better than going to for me personally, I'm a baseball fan, so going out to a ball game and hearing the sound of a bat and a ball hitting, that's probably the part I'm missing the most right now. I don't know about you, Carp, but that maybe we can just throw a wiffle ball or something and hear the sound off a bat or something. That might get me through the next couple of days here.
Yeah, we can bring down some wiffle balls. We can take some BP in the gym. Yeah, come on over.
Absolutely. A little social distancing, but making sure we get to hear the sound of a ball hitting a bat. But yeah, any of the sports. And like I said, the getting to know the coaches and wanting them to be successful, and just you and the athletic director and his assistants, Josh and Steve and those guys, and Scott, and then your office staff as well, Julie. Really, like I said, it really makes for what we're trying to make sure students know and parents know what we can provide them. And like I said, that's not just for them. That's also internally for all of us as staff and people here at the college. When I started here at Hutchinson Community College, I basically knew one person that was here. But I can tell you after 14 years, I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of people and build a lot of great relationships internally as well. And, that's the part, like I said, that keeps you coming back for more every day.
You bet. Corbin, thanks for taking some time with us, and we'll get back to hopefully normal here pretty quick.
I appreciate it, Carp, and thanks for doing what you're doing.
You bet. Corbin Strobel, Director of Admissions at Hutchinson Community College, and that'll wrap up another episode of Conversations with Carp. We'll talk to you again soon. So long, everybody.